We're going to have Mr. Kiyota, the Group CEO of the Japan Exchange Group. The presentation is about the JPX approach to the sustainable finance. So he will present through the video today. Good afternoon. This is Kiyota from Japan Exchange Group. I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce our sustainability initiative. I would also like to express my gratitude to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government and everyone involved for holding the Tokyo Sustainable Finance Forum in spite of the severe environment caused by the new corona pandemic. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government is currently revising the International Finance City Tokyo concept to realize the Tokyo International Finance Center. The Tokyo Green Finance Initiative, or TGFI for short, is a major pillar of this effort to develop green finance. I participated as a member of the TGFI Review Committee, and the Tokyo Metropolitan Government and the members of the committee gave me a great deal of insight into various issues, including climate change. I felt the Tokyo government and the participating committee members has a high expectation for the sustainable finance to solve various problems, including climate change and a great sense of crisis about the global problems. On the flip side of these expectations, we also like to contribute to the development of the sustainable finance together with you. I would like to talk about 1. The revision of the Corporate Governance Code, which was implemented in June this year, and 2. Our effort to promote sustainability at the JPX. First, I would like to review the history of the Corporate Governance Code, which was established by Tokyo Stock Exchange and the Financial Services Agency in 2015 and applied to all the listed companies. The role of the code is to provide an effective framework for the transparent, fair, prompt, and decisive decision-making, taking into account the position of the stakeholders, including shareholders. In addition, the application of the code is based on the principle-based approach. That is, the principle-based approach and the compliance approach. And also, we had the principle-based approach and the comply or explain principle. That's the big characteristics. The principle-based approach does not prescribe in detail in the action to be taken by each company, but rather uses abstract expressions that leave room for a wide range of interpretations. Its appropriateness will be assessed by investors and others. The compliance or explain clause is designed to allow investors to evaluate the appropriateness of the provisions. In case of the complaint, the choice between the comply and explain for the reason for the non-compliance. The code is encouraged listed companies to deepen their deliberations whether it is better to comply with the code or to explain their views in order to enhance their corporate value over the medium or long term. The Corporate Governance Code has another major revision in 2018. In the public comment for the revision, There were several opinions that as the dialogue on the ESG is progressing, disclosure of information on ESG factors by companies should be included in the code. In response to these comments, we have clarified that non-financial information includes information on so-called ESG factors. So this is the second revision. There are three reasons for the second revision. The first is to review the content of the previous revision in 2018 to see if there are any issues that were overlooked in the previous revision, or if there are any principles that should be reviewed in light of the changes in the environment. It is a regular review every 3 years. The second is that the corporate environment has changed significantly since 2018, including the rapid spread of the new coronavirus, digital transformation, and response to the climate change. In the midst of the drastically changing business environment, the question of how the listed companies will achieve the sustainable growth and medium to long-term enhancement of the corporate value and what is the effective framework that will support them is being asked again. The third is to review the TSE's market classifications, especially the higher level of governance required of companies listed on the prime market, which is considered to be the highest level. Now, I would like to introduce the main points of revision this time. There are 3 main points. The first is the fulfillment of the function of the board of directors. This revision states that companies listed on the prime market should have at least 1/3 independent outside directors, or majority it deems necessary. The report also calls for the establishment of the nomination committee and the compensation committee and the publication of the so-called skill matrix of skills of the directors should have in light of the business strategies, and the appointment of independent outside directors with management experience with other companies. The second is to ensure diversity in the core human resources, specifically the promotion of women, non-Japanese, and mid-career hires to management positions. To meet the purpose and disclose the current status. The third is to address issues related to sustainability. In the prime market, the quality and the quantity of climate change disclosure is enhanced based on the TCFD or equivalent information framework. In the prime market, companies are expected to enhance the quality and the quantity. In addition, companies are required to formulate the basic policy of sustainability and disclose their initiatives. We hope that listed companies will consider the revised code and present their views to investors in the form of comply or explain. Next, I would like to introduce JPX effort to promote sustainability as an exchange operating company. Our efforts are based on 2 main pillars. The first is the support for the ESG-related initiatives of the listed companies. And the second is the support for the investors to provide the ESG-related products. Regarding the first one, the support for the listed companies' initiatives, there are 3 main initiatives to date. First of all, I would like to encourage listed companies to take initiatives in providing non-financial information, including ESG information, in the Corporate Governance Code, which I mentioned earlier. Second, the creation and the publication of the practical handbook on the ESG information disclosure. The third is the establishment of the JPX ESG Knowledge Hub, which is an extension of the handbook, includes video seminars. While keeping all the listed companies in mind, the practical handbook for ESG disclosure is designed to help listed companies, especially listed companies that are just started to disclose ESG information in earnest, should understand the current status of ESG and ESG investment, promote efforts to address ESG issues in a way that is appropriate for their company, and encourage in dialogue with investors and other stakeholders. It introduces existing information disclosure frameworks as well as examples of the corporate disclosures. Using these frameworks, we hope that listed company will make the use of this handbook to start ESG disclosure where they can and to improve ESG information disclosure. We also hope that investors will make use of this handbook in their engagement activities and so on, and that the dialogue between the listed companies and the investors will progress. The other pillar, providing ESG-related products to investors, includes the calculation and the publication of the ESG-related stock indices and the listed ESG-related ETFs. And in addition, we select and publicize themed issue that invest in renewable energy generation facilities as an infrastructure fund. Also, we provide a disclosure platform for the green bond and the special bond market. Lastly, I would like to introduce the effort of the Japan Exchange Group as a listed company to address ESG issues. At the JPX, we have set forth 4 environmental policies to achieve sustainable development that balances economic development and environmental preservation. In July this year, we announced that the entire JPX group would aim to become the carbon neutral by fiscal 2024 as a response to climate change. In addition to switching to the electricity contract for TSE and OSE buildings to the renewable energy menu from this month, JPX will own its own renewable energy power generation facilities and generate renewable energy, and will take a more proactive approach to solving environmental issues. In the changing environment of sustainability, we believe that it is important for listed companies to set and implement sustainability issues and disclose the status of their implementation in order to improve their corporate value in the long term. This is, of course, a challenge for us, and we have a responsibility to promote the sustainability activities of the listed companies through the framework of the listing system. Thank you very much for your attention today for my talk about JPX effort to revise the corporate governance code and promote sustainability. Once again, thank you very much for your attention.
Mr. Kiyota, thank you very much.